But we made it, and we're glad to have you here this morning. We're going to make sure that all of you graduates have your paper with you for later in the program. Dr. Lawrence Van Hook, right here, will be serving. The two of us will be serving as Masters of Ceremonies. Right now, I'd like to invite Reverend Robert McKnight. Pastor Rutledge will be giving our invocation.
To our Chancellor and Dean, and to all of the educators, especially to our graduates, we want to acknowledge Him who made us. It is He that has made us, and not we ourselves. Oh God, our Father, the Creator of all things, the sustainer of life, and the one who educates us because education came from you. We thank you that you've given us an opportunity to acknowledge you. And we also acknowledge those whose shoulders we are standing on. And then, Lord, we ask that you would guide our students, comfort him in this journey. Help us never to give up, but look forward in knowing that you will sustain us in whatever road we take. Bless your name, bless your people, and all the creatures of the earth who can speak say, Amen.
I really want to thank the Chancellor, these presidents, the official staff, the graduation committee, and all of the people in the colleges, all 4 colleges, who allowed us to make this possible. And I would really like for you to honor the presidents and all of these people up here because they are the people who make it possible for us to have Laney Merritt College, Alameda, and Berkeley City College. Can you stand and give them a round of applause for what they've done? I have to make a confession and an apology. This has been a tough year. It's been a tough year for the graduation committee. We didn't get the chance, for some of you parents and family and friends, we didn't get a chance to put all of the students' names on the certificates and the program because there was a disconnect. It was a technical disconnect, but we're still here. And we're honoring your family members, friends, students, and all of the above to make this happen. And when I came, I was really down until I started seeing the excitement of those whose year it is in 2014. So I want to give you all another thank you, Dr. Trotter, Anita Black, and all of the committee, Rose Allen, wherever you are. She is a workhorse indeed. Thank you. Thank you. We have a student, Miss Ariana Brown. She's going to come and lead us from Merritt College. She's going to lead us in the national anthem. It doesn't matter. You want to come up here with the. All right.
Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord, everybody. I'll say. Okay. Good job, girl. Lift every voice and sing till like the heaven ring. Let us into the light. Keep us forever in our path, we pray. Bless our feet, straight from the places, Lord God, where we may be. Bless our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadow beneath thy hand, may we forever stand. True to our God, true to our native land. At this time, I'd like to call forth Dr. Carolyn Van Putten, who currently serves as the president of the Peralta Community College's District Academic Senate. She always gives a phenomenal welcome and speech on what this occasion is about. To my memory, she has been here for every Black graduation program there has been since the first one. Yes. So would you join me in welcoming Dr. Carolyn Van Putten to the stage, please?
Good morning and good day. On behalf of almost 1,000 full-time and contingent faculty who have been your teachers at Berkeley City College, College of Alameda, Laney College, and Merritt College, as the president of the Peralta District Academic Senate, I bring you greetings and congratulations. Celebration, a special occasion. Celebrate the meaning of the here and now. Some may have wondered why we have a Black graduation in 2014 when we no longer need to separate ourselves from those who do not identify themselves as Black, and when we are no longer forced by intolerance and bigotry to have our own ceremonies and public rituals. Why then do we choose to create a special occasion just for Black graduates? As a people, for Black people, education has always been a path to freedom. Freedom from poverty and want, freedom from despair and limitation, freedom to choose and accomplish one's own destiny, freedom to dream and to bring those dreams forth into visible reality. We do this to remind you of your connection to generations of a people who strove to lift themselves up by their own bootstraps and succeeded. To remind you of your responsibility not just to yourself and perhaps to your family, but also to your ancestors who paved the way so that you could walk upon it, and to the generations yet to come so that their paths can be easier and more sure, their steps firmer and more confident. We have this ceremony to remind you of your responsibility to one another for providing the support, encouragement, inspiration, and community of a living example, for being a testament to what we can do if we put our minds and hearts to it. You may not have realized that your accomplishments this year are ties to hundreds of thousands, probably millions of Black and brown people of American and African ancestry who made similar accomplishments, sometimes against all odds, because they had a burning desire to do something special with their lives, to kindle the flames of hope and promise for a better life, a better tomorrow, a better community, a better world. Every one of us who takes on that mantle makes it easier for another brother, another sister, another son, another daughter, a mother, a father, and another brown or beige or yellow face to turn toward the sun, to reflect its light and to make us all shine more brightly in a world that needs us to help lift it from violence, inhumanity, isolation, ignorance, greed, deceit, and injustice. We are proud of you for having made this choice, for having completed this stage of your educational journey, and it is our hope and prayer that you will go on to complete more stages, to climb as high on the academic ladder as it is possible for you, knowing that the higher you climb, the easier it gets, not just for you, but for all of us. Whether you realize it or not, we are all one, and we are more likely to recognize that oneness when our eyes and minds and hearts are opened by the kind of knowledge, information, and ideas collected in the books and life experiences that accompany the educational enterprise. With these openings, we may come to know who we truly are and accept our connectivity as integral to our individuality. In the words of Marcus Garvey, "Rise up, you mighty people. Accomplish what you will for yourselves and for us all. We need you to be the best you can be. Nothing less and nothing more." Thank you for accepting this mission.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Van Putten, for your reminding us why we're here. I now want to introduce our Commander-in-Chief. Dr. Ortiz will come bring greetings and introduce his bosses and the presidents of our colleges and anything else that he wants to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Ortiz.
Cherry. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jose Ortiz. I'm the Chancellor of the Peralta Colleges. It is my pleasure to introduce our Board of Trustees, presidents of the college, who are here at the platform. I'll start with our President of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Belgi Yang. Our Vice President of the Board is Meredith Brown. And in no particular order, we have Trustee Linda Handy. We have Trustee Bill Riley. And right behind me, I'm trying to cover him up, is Trustee Saigalasa. Trustee Bill Withrow and Trustee Nikki Gonzalez-Ying could not be with us today, but they're with us in spirit. Also, I'd like to introduce our college presidents. I'll start with the president of College of Alameda. We have Dr. Norma Ambris Galaviz. Actually, she'd like to be in College of Alameda. But I sent her up to Merritt College, so Dr. Ambris, I know you're doing great up there. The president of Laney College, Dr. Elnora Webb. I don't know who else is here. So representing College of Alameda, because Dr. Gravenberg could not be with us today, is Dr. Alexis Montevirgin. And Dr. Debbie Budd, president of Berkeley City College, could not be with us today because she's attending her son's graduation. So we want to recognize that. Am I missing anyone? So on behalf of our Board of Trustees, our presidents, or certainly our faculty, our administration, our staff throughout the colleges, I want to express my heartfelt congratulations to all of our graduates today. I also want to recognize all the families and friends of our graduates who have supported our students, knowing full well that all of us have a compelling story that has moved us through adversity, trials and tribulations, but today we are celebrating an accomplishment. And that accomplishment is an achievement in education. And we all want to encourage you to continue down that path of education, because we all know that achievement in education leads to achievement in social justice. And what we want to do as a people from the Peralta colleges, we want social justice, and education is our path. I want to take a moment to have to do a little shout out to Brother Greg Hodge. Is he still in the house? Greg is gone, but I want to thank him for bringing his bata drums and his tumbao, reminding all of us that Africa speaks in us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor. At this time, Anita Black will be prepared to come with our Pioneer Award. As she comes and prepares to come, I want to give a commercial break because this is an election year, and I need to make sure that everybody is registered to vote. We have registration of voting ballots on the back so that you can register. We also need for you to know if you're on parole and off probation, you can vote. That's the California rules. All right, I need for everybody, you need to know that. On probation, off parole, you can register to vote.
Good morning, graduates and family members. How are you today? Fantastic. It's with a great honor and a privilege that I have an opportunity to present this award that we do on an annual basis. I'm not going to read his bio. I think you all can do that for yourselves. It's in the program. But Dr. Herbert Kitchen, Herb, we know each other by, we've known each other for a very long time. I won't say how many years, but I know him via an old family friend and his significant other, who I met first, Herb's brother, Wayne, who's here, many moons ago. But Herb and I have worked together in this district for a good little while. Even when I was a dean over at Laney College, I tried to get him into a part-time teaching job and was not successful due to the politics of this district, but he stayed right here though. And he has now earned his doctorate degree. He has followed in the footsteps of many that came before even me. He is now president of the Peralta Association of African American Affairs. And that chapter is a very illustrious chapter, not only in this district, but in this nation. We had forerunners from this district that organized what is now known as the National Council of Black American Affairs, one of the first affiliates of the American Association of Community Colleges. I won't name names, but for those that know them. And for that, he was identified early on through his leadership, through his participation in that chapter of doing things, of taking care of business. And because of that, it was unanimously felt that he should be recognized as one of the pioneers in this district as an African American male. And I want to say to him, being in my, I guess you'd say the brother fraternity of my sorority. Anybody that knows what I'm talking about, you know why I'm wearing green. But at any rate, I'd like to bring him forward and present him this year's Pioneer Award for the African American graduation of 2014. Pioneer Award presented to Dr. Herbert J. Kitchen for your dedicated service and commitment to excellence. African American graduation of 2014.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's try that again. Good morning.
Good morning.
That's much better. To our trustees, chancellor, platform guests, family, friends, and to the graduates of 2014. This award means so much to me, but it comes from the work from colleagues here at Peralta who are working and striving every day to make the lives of our students better. That is our main goal, is to make sure that we see many of you out there for the class of 2015, 16, and so on to complete and to graduate from a Peralta college. That has been our goal. When I finished college almost 30 years ago, the commencement speaker said, I want to leave you with two 10-letter words. Two 10-letter words. And they are, and I want you to repeat this after I've said this. If it is to be, it is up to me. Let's do that one more time. If it is to be, it is up to me. So again, I want to thank the Peralta Association of African American Affairs for this award. This award may have my name on it, but it is for everyone here today and those who are not here who work hard every day to ensure that we are doing the best job that we can to serve you, our students. So again, thank you.
All right.
Ms. Rose Allen is one of the most phenomenal people at the Merritt College. And she works tirelessly. She's going to come and introduce our student speaker at this time, Mrs. Rose C.J. Allen.
I'm honored to present your 2014 student speaker for this commencement. His name is Romel Harmon. He's a student at Berkeley City College who's completed his degree in sociology, and he'll be transferring to UC Berkeley, also majoring in sociology. Please welcome Mr. Romel Harmon.
Good morning. Can you hear me? My name is Romel Harmon, and as soon as my knees stop shaking, I would like to speak with you for a minute. You're good. I am from a time, it seems, the grass was greener, the air was cleaner, and the neighborhood was a bit more neighborly. I am from go-go boots and leisure suits. I am from dashikis and bell bottoms. I am from Tonka trucks and Easy Bake ovens, rock'em sock'em robots. I am from phone booths on the corner. I am from cigarette machines. I am from penny candy that really costs a penny. I am from dreams deferred and dreams denied. I am from fires burning in a darkened sky with heads bowed low and fists raised high. I am from the shoulders of Martin and Malcolm, Huey and Thurgood. I am from the bosoms of Coretta and Rosa, Angela, Maya, and Medea's. I am from mother's love, mother's love, mother's love, a single black woman who did the best she could with what she had. And I am standing here to tell you, she did all right. I am standing here to tell you, as a graduate of the year 2014 on my way to the University of California, Berkeley, and I want to tell you that that single black mama did all right. I would first like to thank a loving, forgiving, and merciful God for giving me the opportunity to stand in front of you today. And I would like to thank that God for giving me another chance to get it right. I began my journey to here a little differently. My first relationship with education was counterproductive at the least and antisocial at its worst. While my classmates were learning reading, writing, and arithmetic, I was learning hip, slick, and cool. A skill set that would prove inadequate as I grew up and I grew older. For me, education was nothing but an environment for me to meet other hip, slick, and cool kids. And one day the dean of students came and found me on the campus, and he said, "Mr. Harmon," and I knew by the tone of his voice and his choice of words that today was going to be a little different. Because he usually called me by my first and last name. "Romel Harmon, why aren't you in class? Romel Harmon, put that cigarette out. Romel Harmon, come out of that bushes with that girl." So I knew from the tone of voice that today would be different. And he commenced to tell me that as of that day, which was my 18th birthday, I would not be able to graduate because I didn't have enough credits. And even with summer school, I wouldn't earn enough credits. And since I was now a grown man and no longer a ward of the public education system, would I please leave the school grounds immediately? So without a farewell or so long, my educational journey at that level came to an abrupt end. My life was anything but productive. My connection to my community was anything but healthy. And my development as a person was anything but functional. That is why today, for me, that is why today, for me, is very special. For the office of the Dean of Students at Berkeley City College to find me worthy of standing on this stage and presenting this commencement speech is both an honor and a privilege. It is a privilege that humbles me, and it gives me a chance to redeem myself. It gives me a chance to stand before my classmates and say, this time I learned how to read, and I learned how to write, and I learned how to use my math. So whether you are here, this is your day, whether you're receiving a certificate of completion or multiple diplomas, whether you breeze through this journey with Olympic speed or like me, you had to take a more leisurely pace, whether you got here by the hair on your chinny chin chin or you are graduating with highest honors, today is your day, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. I would like to thank this panel on the platform for making me comfortable. I stand in the company of where I hope to sit one day. Now, whether your plans moving forward are to begin your professional career or whether you plan to continue your educational journey at the next level, I just want you to know that if you take a moment to look around, you will see the future leaders of business and industry and community and faith, and know that you have been to that place where knowledge is shared and you have filled your cup. But I want you to know that even though this can be considered an individual achievement, it is by no way an individual accomplishment. There are friends and family who have come along the way. There are friends and family who sacrificed and accommodated, who did what they could, even sometimes when they really couldn't. So if there's somebody here today who helped you along the way, say thank you. Thank you. Even if they have come and gone and are only here in spirit and still inspire, still influence, say thank you. I would like to leave you with 3 pieces of wisdom that have helped me navigate my journey thus far. Don't overlook life's little joys while you are searching for the big ones. If someone offers you a breath mint, you might want to take it. Life does not require that we be the best, only that we try our best. Thank you.
And Dr. Brown will introduce our commencement speaker this morning.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
2014 is a mighty good year, isn't it? This is a year where brilliance shines. This is a year where intelligence blooms. This is a year where accomplishments are accomplished and conquered. We are so proud of you, class of 2014. You should be proud of yourselves. And I do believe this, I've been in the graduation maybe 4 out of the 6 years, and I do believe this is the best looking class that we've had. No, it look good today. You look good today. And we're giving thanks to the Creator, to God today, and to the ancestors who laid the path for us today, and to you yourselves and your family and your loved ones who made this all possible. And it's my job today to introduce to you our keynote speaker who exemplifies what we are to do with our higher education. Your education is not just for you. Your education is to fight for justice and equality. Your education is to defend the defenseless. Your education is to advance righteousness. Your education was not by you, it is for you to give back to our community, to uplift us from these conditions that we are under still. And Attorney John Burris represents that. Graduate of a community college, now head of his own law firm, but not selfishly. He could have gotten his attorney's degree, got the house and the hill and the Benz and the pretty wife and all, and just sat back. But he chose to use his degree to fight for us. The cases that John Burris has been involved in are landmark, groundbreaking cases defending us against police brutality, police murder, and police racial profiling. One of his high-profile cases was the Oakland rioters case. Some of us remember the OPD, the members of OPD that were planting evidence on brown and black youth that did not commit a crime. He was, of course, involved in the Oscar Grant, defending Oscar Grant, our brother, our beloved. And we will forever be grateful to him for the fights that he wages for us. He has also written a book called Blue and Black, a book about fighting police brutality and injustice. John Burris has defended many high-profile names. I didn't know this until I read this today. That includes Barry Bonds, Tupac Shakur, Delroy Lindo, Dwayne Wiggins, Keyshawn Johnson, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Latrell Sprewell. Boy, they just charging everybody with all kinds of stuff. Sports agent Aaron Goodwin and former chief of police of San Francisco Earl Sanders, to name just a few. And so we thank him for representing what it is that we're here to do, to fight for our people. Please welcome the great, the important, the dedicated attorney, John Burris.
Well, thank you. Chancellors, trustees, presidents, faculty members, family, and above all, graduates. My heart is filled and exhilarated by what I've heard today. Hearing Mr. Harmon speak reminds me of what a community college is supposed to do. It's a second chance opportunity for individuals. And you cannot underestimate the importance of a second chance, particularly for the African American community, because the way the system has developed down through the years, many, many individuals, young men in particular, have been caught up in the criminal justice system, and they need a second chance. And without that second chance, without community colleges like this, they would never get it. And when you don't get it, you don't have the same opportunities as others, because you can make a difference. I want to say to all of you that as I look about and heard what was said, it reminded me of where I was over 40 plus years ago. As I sat where these students sit, these graduates, my family and friends were in the audience. No one had gone to college before then, before me. But as I sat and reflected up on it as I was in the audience, I probably wasn't listening to what the commencement exercise person had to speak, and you probably won't remember either. But what I did remember, it was the journey that it took to get there. The journey that it took to get there, because my family was part of the Western migration from the South. And my mother and father both worked in blue-collar type jobs. I worked in the fields for many years. And as part of that, it instilled in me this need to make a difference in my own life. But also I represented my family, much as all of you do. You represent your family. This morning, I found out that my young nephew passed the California bar exam. And I said to my sister and I said to my nephew that when you advance yourself educationally and become a member of the bar and you go to law school, all of us went to school with you, the entire family, because it was important that what he did and what I have done set an example for others to follow. And so it's important what you have done, because not only have you set an example for yourself and paved a direction that you may not understood before you started, but for the people in the audience, for the nephews and nieces and your own children, this is an important start. I'm often reminded of a comment, a quotation by Winston Churchill, the former prime minister, deceased now, of Great Britain. And during the bombing of London in 1942, when it looked as all was lost for London, the Germans were berserking in the town. And there came a point when it was very clear that they were going to defeat the Germans and the war was going to end later. But he said, this is not the end. It is not the beginning. But it is the beginning of the end. And it is a new beginning. And so it is with you. What you started has ended. That beginning that you started, whenever you did, has ended. And now you are setting forth on a new beginning that will have another form of reach for you. And that's what's important here, is that you understand and appreciate what you've started and what you have done. But now it's onward to the next adventure, because you have not reached the end. You've only begun a new beginning. And that's extraordinarily important as you think back and consider where your life is going to go. And so I have had the opportunity, as a consequence of that new beginning. I didn't know where it was going to go. I started my life working as an accountant, as Ken Smith sits here knows, you know. But that was the beginning and also the end, because I ultimately concluded that that wasn't the direction that I wanted to go. Because I too was struck by the history that was occurring at the time. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, all the things that Brother Hodges were talking about, I lived through those. And they embedded in me this real sense of obligation to the extent that whatever talents I had, those talents needed to be used to further the social justice that those men and women started. Because what we all do, if you're involved in the issues of social justice, you are preparing yourself, are preparing the world for a world that you may never see. And that what Dr. King and others, and before that, Frederick Jackson, Frederick Douglass, and all the others were really taking at hand and having a vision for a world that they would never see themselves. And we're the beneficiaries of that. That's because they had the courage, they had the vision, and many of the people who work with them who are nameless. Because when you read the history book, you don't read about a lot of them. But they all had to sacrifice. They all had to put their lives on the line so that you and I can enjoy the fruits of that effort. And to the extent that you can contribute to moving the social agenda in your lifetime, you should take it and you should do it. Because there comes a time when you will have the opportunity to make those kinds of differences. You know, I say as part of that is footprints is a very important term for me. Because it's like if you go to the beach and you see the footprints that someone has set, you follow those footprints, but they ultimately end. They ultimately end. And then you have to start and go further if you want. Well, the footprints of life are those who have set the path before you. They have laid those footprints, and they have ended. And now it's up to you to move those footprints even further. Now, how do you go about that? It's a question of choice. Because you are in a position now to make a choice as to the direction that your life is going to go. I'm often reminded of the words of Robert Frost, the poet, who talked in terms of the road not taken. And that he was confronted at a fork in the road in the woods. He looked down that road and he could see that it was well traveled. Others had done it before. It was a safe, comparable road. But he decided to come back, and he looked down the other road. It wasn't a road that was well paved and had not been traveled much in the past before him. He decided that he wanted to try that road, and he did. And as he said, it made all the difference in the world to him. I certainly was confronted with that kind of issue when I decided to leave the accounting practice. Ultimately, I left the accounting practice, became a lawyer. Then I had to make another choice about whether to leave a safe practice that I had or to venture out and become a civil rights lawyer. It made all the difference in the world to me. Because I'm certain if I had not made that choice, that I would not be here today. Because I'm here because I made that choice in order to move the social agenda that existed in Oakland and around the world at the time that I was involved in it. Many of you will have opportunities to do just like that. It may not be on a large scale, but whatever scale it is, to the extent that you have acquired a sense of justice and fairness and appreciation to the roads traveled by others and the harshness they have suffered, and that you can make a difference, ensuring that it doesn't happen to others. And that doesn't mean that you have to be the President of the United States. You could be in any job, in any profession, because there are going to be decisions that have to be made where you have to stand up and say no or yes. And your test and your moral fiber, your moral sense, your sense of courage will come forward. And that, if nothing else, is what we want to instill when we educate people. It's the ability to make a good, solid, moral decision when that time comes. Now, as J-Lo said to her last husband, don't worry, I won't keep you long. I'm not going to keep you long. But I want to just say one last point. It is important that you have a dream, that you have a vision, that you have initiative, and you cannot and do not limit yourself because of that. Follow your dream, follow your ambition. As a cautionary note, we should not forget that there's always an 800-pound gorilla in that room. There always is. And all you have to do is remember what Donald Sterling said this week, okay? And remember some of the decisions that are being made by the various courts, that racism, sexism, politicalism are out there. And you cannot and should not allow yourself to be bushwhacked by any of that. And part of your training, part of critical thinking, part of being able to assess the circumstances that exist is the ability to perceive and to make good decisions that do not allow that to happen. If it does happen, come see me. See what I can do. And finally, all of you, and I'm sure you have been confronted by naysayers. Those are the people who bring you down, who say, what you doing that for? Why are you thinking that way? Why are you talking that way? Let's go to this party. Let's go do this. I've had many cases where young kids, young people have gone off to college, they come back with their friends, and the next thing you know, they're involved in some stuff where they wind up in jail, or they wind up being profiled, or they wind up in a car where someone has a gun or someone has drugs. It is very easy to get off track, and it's very easy for someone to encourage you to do that. As my mother would always say to me, just because a person says he's a friend, don't make him your friend. And it's a lesson, the sooner you make it, the better off you are, because it's really on you to protect yourself from various things that exist within the community. And the last point I want to make is important to be active, to involve yourself in the social dynamics of the community in which you live. And do not be inactive, if you will, by allowing someone else's agenda. All of you will deal with life in its various slings and arrows. I have, you will. And the issue is, how do you deal with those is the true measure of the spirit that you have, and it says a lot about how well you understood and appreciated your education. I have one last comment to make, and it's, this is from Teddy Roosevelt, the president, and I'm reading this book, about him, and I'm fascinated by his life history. And even though he was a wealthy guy and he was privileged, he was a true fighter, and he had vision. He could see beyond the horizon. All of what you do, if you want to have a career that it may be that you don't know now, but it will come up. And that's what the world of technology is about. That's what energy is about. That's what cyberspace is about. It's about healthcare is about. These are new areas. And you should have a sense that you can go into those areas, but do not be complacent. So Theodore Roosevelt said, quote, "It's not the critic who counts, not the one who points out how the strong man stumbled, or how the doer of deeds might have done it better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust, sweat, and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasm, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause. In essence, you lead an active life despite the naysayers, and you never quit. So congratulations to all of you, and I wish you the best."
Graduates, Berkeley City College, College of Alameda, Laney College, Merritt College. Please stand. Wow. You are a personification of the hope of our ancestors. You're a manifestation of the genius of each one of you. And collectively, you are awesome. I'm going to ask you, as you stand there boldly with such dignity, pride, intelligence, humility, integrity, love unconditional, care unconditional, take your time, men and women, take that tassel from your right, and move it to your left. Chancellor Jose Ortiz, would you stand with me? And I'm going to ask our Board of Trustees, would you stand? I'm going to ask our other dignitaries to stand with me on the podium. I'm going to ask our faculty and staff, would you stand? I want you to look at these graduates and say, what do you see? Are these fine folks? Are these beautiful folks? Are these jazzy folks? Are these folks who have a clue? Are these folks who value our history? Are these folks who understand that the power of tomorrow is based upon our investment today? That the nature of transformation comes from within. That the power to create comes from within. And that collaboration is what it's all about. That leveraging one another is absolutely essential. I want to say, on behalf of this extraordinary leader who cares deeply about this district, these extraordinary leaders who care as a collective board of trustees to lead this district, it is my honor to welcome you to the distinguished environment, the class of 2014.
You can just all stand, grab somebody by the hand. We're going to give you a blessing on your way out. Now unto our Creator, the one who watches us. By whatever name we call him, by however we see him, we ask now that you would allow Mother, Father, God to make the difference in our life. We thank you for our time together. Now help us now as we move from this day to the rest of our future. And you can address him in every word name you know. Ashe. God bless you. Congratulations.